I'm really excited. Today we are going to be reviewing the brightest Aputure 300d Mark II. Hey, how's it going YouTube? Cody Morell here again with Swoon Creative Collective, and as you can tell, we're playing a little bit of catch up with our gear reviews, but next month we are going to be releasing some tips and tricks, so if you want to be notified when those come out, make sure to subscribe and also check that little bell so you can be notified when those release. Moving along with this review, we did pay for this light with our own money, and it's not for everybody with a price tag of just under $1,100, but Aputure, if you're watching, we'd love to review some other products of yours. So we finally made the choice to upgrade our lighting and add the 300D Mark II to our kit. We were really looking into getting the 300D, but we saw the 300D Mark II at NAB, and I'm really glad we just waited and went with this light instead. So we already have the 120D Mark II and the 120D, and the 300D Mark II was just the next logical step for us to add a little more power to our kit. Plus, Aputure is doing some amazing things, and we really can't wait to see what they do next. Some key new features with this light: it is now 20% brighter, coming in at 80,000 lux with their new Fresnel attachment, which we plan on picking here up soon. We already have the original Fresnel, we use it on the 120D and 120D Mark II. So since we never owned the original 300D, let's do a comparison between the 300D Mark II and the 120D Mark II for those of you that are looking to upgrade in the future. As you can see, this thing is bright. It is crazy bright, almost too bright for anyone's needs, but it's always good to have that extra power and not need it, than need that extra power and not have it. So something you'll notice when you first pull this out of the box is that the case has been redesigned. It's actually a lot sturdier than their other cases, and some people have actually started standing on them just to prove how tough they are. The light itself has also been updated a little bit with some red accents, which I don't really like the red and black, but that's just me being picky. I don't even think I need my original 120D anymore, so if you guys just hold on a second, I'm actually gonna call and see how much I can get for it.
Thank you for calling YNS Photo and Video. This is Jen, how can I help you?
Yeah, hey, I just wanted to see how much I could get for my 120D. I still have the original bag and everything and all the accessories it came with, and it's basically in perfect condition.
Okay, just a moment. We can offer you $17. How does that sound?
$17? You're kidding, right? I'm just gonna go ahead and sell it on Gear Focus instead.
What is Gear Focus?
Gear Focus is a new and used online marketplace for photography and filmmaking equipment. They're actually set to launch at the end of August, and when you first sign up, they are offering 0 seller fees for the first 30 days. It's absolutely free to sign up and list as many items as you want, and after the 30 days, it's only 3.5%, and you are only charged that once your item sells. Gear Focus is run and monitored by photographers and videographers, so you can be confident in selling or buying used items on this platform. I will link all their information down in the notes, and you can check out gearfocus.com, put your email in to be notified when they first launch, as well as enter their awesome camera giveaway. The 300D Mark II now comes with a newly designed 55-degree hyper reflector for 45,000 lux of output at 1 meter, which is very close to a 575 watt HMI. It is still a Bowens mount light like previous models and can be used with an array of modifiers from Aputure and even other brands as well. We picked up the Light Dome Mark II with this light, and we already own the Mark I, so stay tuned for a comparison video in the future. We also really want to pick up the new lantern modifier from Aputure because it just looks really interesting, and I think we could definitely use it on some future projects. Now, great color fidelity is something we've definitely come to expect from Aputure products, and the 300D Mark II is no exception to that, with a CRI and TLCI rating of 97+. Now, something really exciting with this light is they've now updated the ballast to be an all-in-one type, just like they did between the 120D and the 120D Mark II, and it's a very welcome change. Because using the 120D with that power brick attached to the power cable is pretty annoying, and I'm sure it's even worse with the 300D, but again, we've never owned that light, so we can't really speak to it. I'm really glad they went with this new design because it just seems way more streamlined and just easier to rig up in general. They've also added this super awesome quick release clamp, which they're calling the lightning clamp, and I could not be a bigger fan of the design. It makes it super easy to attach the ballast to a stand, and then also you can move it around and the ballast isn't banging around and making a bunch of noise. Now, the new design features these reinforced metal feet, so if you want to set the control box down on the ground, you can do that, but if you still want to hang it, it does come with an updated paracord, which seems a little more robust and less prone to failure. You can now power this light with 2 V-mount and 2 gold mount batteries to be even more on the go, and you can also power this light at 50% power with 1 battery, just make sure you are plugging that battery into the correct side of the control box, which is the red side. If you plug it into the black side, nothing happens. We're super interested in picking up some V-mount batteries for this light, so if you have any suggestions, leave them down in the comments below. The 300D Mark II now comes with a 6-meter Nutric cable, just like with the 120D Mark II, for a much more secure connection to the ballast to power. And gosh, that click when you turn it in, it's really satisfying. Like, you gotta admit it, right? The 300D Mark II now comes with a 3-meter 5-pin male to female XLR cable to connect the ballast to the light. It's always nice not to have a proprietary cable like you see in the 120D. In case you misplace or damage it, you can replace it pretty quickly. The Mark II now also comes with the built-in effects that we first saw introduced with the 120D Mark II, such as paparazzi, fireworks, lightning, fault bulb, TV, pulsing, strobe, and explosion. And while we don't use these effects very often, they definitely come in handy every now and then. We recently used the paparazzi effect on the 120D Mark II for a shoot we were asked to help with for Cirque du Soleil here in Vegas. Now, unfortunately, we're not able to show you any of that footage because it is not even out yet, but it is really awesome they built these effects into the 300D Mark II, and you can actually update these effects via firmware updates if Aputure releases any more in the future. Another very welcome feature with the 300D Mark II is you can now dim from 100% down to 0. Just like we saw in the 120D Mark II, and having complete control of your lighting is definitely something that is very crucial. The 300D Mark II now comes with the same handbrake style yoke that you see with the 120D Mark II, and now while this upgrade might seem a little silly to some of you, it definitely is a huge improvement, especially for those really large light modifiers like the Light Dome or Light Dome Mark II. And those older style knobs that are on the 120D and 300D kind of kill my fingers, and you never felt like you could get it quite secure. In addition to everything we've talked about already, Aputure has also updated the remote that comes with the 300D Mark II, and you can now trigger all the effects from the remote. They have also hidden the antenna inside the ballast, which isn't something that ever really bothered me, but it does look a little more streamlined now. One of the most exciting upgrades is you can now control the 300D Mark II from your smartphone using the Sidus Link app. It is currently only available for iOS, but they do say that the Android app is coming, and apparently you can control your lights at up to 400 meters away by linking them together. I don't see this being a feature we would probably need anytime soon. We are a smaller production company, but it's great for those larger production companies using these lights. Now, the 300D Mark II is the only light that's out from Aputure that has this feature built in, but they are planning on releasing some control boxes to add to your existing lighting so you can link your lights together and control them all within the app. I'm not a huge fan of controlling stuff with my phone, but after doing some testing with the Sidus Link app, you actually register the light within the app, and it makes the pairing really quick and easy, and I could see using this if you forget the remote, because I always forget the damn remote, so it's gonna be something that definitely comes in handy if you forget it. Another feature that's really handy within the app is you can now save presets. So imagine you're doing some work for a client and it's over a few months and you keep coming back and lighting the location exactly the same. You'll be able to save those presets and then also recall them back later when you set up again for that same shoot, which is definitely something I could see using in the future. Well, that about covers it for the Aputure 300D Mark II. And now there are some features and functions we didn't cover, but we wanted to stick with the main key features of this light. We are really excited to use this light in the future, especially with our latest clients insisting we shoot against a window. So now I think we'll definitely be able to balance that background a little better with this extremely bright light. We may even release a future video where we go over the pros and cons of this light after using it for a few months. But right now, I don't see any cons, only pros with this light. Great job, Aputure. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel and ringing the bell so you'll be notified when new videos come out. And also, give this video a thumbs up. Now that we have Gear Focus as a sponsor for this channel, we definitely plan on releasing a lot of videos this year. So if you have any suggestions or anything you'd like to see, again, leave them down in the comments and we'll try to get to them as soon as possible. Thank you for watching and subscribing. I'm Cody Morell, and we'll catch you on the next one.